right. Well, welcome everybody to today's webinar. We are covering a topic on syncing your CRM with the Front platform. My name is Justin Song. I'm an onboarding manager here at Front. And then I'm joined by Yiting on our product team, and we'll be discussing some of the topics around syncing CRM with you guys. As far as the agenda today, we're going to give you a little bit of background around connecting your CRM into Front, what that can allow you to unlock and achieve with the Front platform. We will be walking through a live demo of the workflows that you can set up, as well as that sync process. And then Yiting will be walking through the setup itself to make sure that you guys are comfortable with that. And then at the end, we will open up the webinar for any questions from the team. Please feel free to write into the Q&A section of Zoom if you guys have any questions as they come up, and then we'll be able to get to those at the end of the session. All right. Yeah, go ahead, launch this poll. We're actually going to send a poll around right now just to see what CRMs you guys might be interested or what you guys are currently using today. We'll collect that information and then we'll make sure to cover those at the end. All right. I'll minimize that. Okay. So let's go ahead and kick this off. So you actually mind pulling up your slide? So current state, we know that legacy CRMs typically, the technology typically focuses around the database itself, with all of your data points that are flowing into that CRM. Generally speaking, those platforms can be a little bit outdated. They are generally also highly complex, meaning that it makes it difficult to not only utilize, but also manage the data that you're storing within CRM. And traditionally, those data points are typically siloed from when you're actually engaging and communicating with your customers themselves. With Front, effectively, we're taking a new approach that focuses on the communication aspect, where you're actually engaging in conversations with your customers across different channels, all within one place. Effectively, you're able to easily build your own workflows with your within Front without any coding, using Front's rules engine, and ultimately you're able to integrate your existing database, contacts, and accounts into the Front platform instead of having to switch between multiple platforms. This unique approach means that you have one solution that you can use across teams with a more unified customer journey itself. Now, sorry, I have to move the poll thing. Now, the way that we achieve this with Front is that the Front platform has what we call a contact manager. This contact manager has two objects, accounts as well as contacts. We allow you to sync your existing data into those accounts and contacts, and we refresh that data every 24 hours, although you can also sync those on one-off occasions as well. The CRM sync effectively one-way syncs your data from your existing CRM platform into these Front accounts and contact objects. And then we can also store the data points or the fields that are most important to you. So in Front, you can actually create custom fields at both the contact and account level from your CRM. So most often we see things like custom fields like account manager, maybe your revenue, account tiers. You're able to pull all of those from your CRM into Front itself, and then we can actually run workflows and automations off of those. So a couple of the benefits of being able to pull in those CRM data points are one, being able to create powerful routing. So a very common example of this would be able to look up perhaps an account manager or maybe an account rep on a specific company or account level. And we can actually create scalable automations that auto route conversations that are coming into front based on that manager or based on that rep that typically works from on that account. And generally speaking, you're probably storing some of that information in your CRM itself. So again, we can make those quick automations to happen directly within front. The next thing that the CRM sync allows you to do is provide in-the-moment customer context to your team. So this either exists on the sort of very far right-hand side, your plugin within your plugin pane within front, or you can hover over any contact where you've received an email, and we'll show you and surface the account details or custom fields that you're pulling in from CRM. Ultimately, what we're trying to pull out of front is the ability to run analytics and metrics. And by syncing your CRM data with front, you'll be able to filter and parse down your key metrics based on those accounts or contacts that you're actually pulling in from CRM as well. One customer that I've worked with, they've set up a more complex flow, but effectively they are syncing one of their contacts, they're syncing their contacts from Salesforce into front, and based on the sort of stage or the stage of the customer itself throughout their customer journey, they actually route those messages to different teams based on where they're at. So we're actually pulling in some opportunity information from Salesforce. We look up what stage of the opportunity that customer exists in, and we're actually able to route it to specific teams based on who is most equipped or best equipped to handle the customer at that particular stage. So that's just a kind of example of one of the more complex use cases of this. And right now we'll move over into a demo. Hopefully you guys can all see my front account here. So I want to point out a couple of things here. And generally speaking, we're going to want to run these on our team inboxes. So you can see in my demo environment, I have this onboarding team inbox that's shared by my team. Now, the way that the CRM sync works is that, again, it's connecting to what we call the contact manager. So the contact manager can actually be found up here in the top right-hand corner. It's that little person icon where we have the contact details. This is actually broken out into two different tabs. First, I have the contact itself, and then I have an associated account. You'll see that as I click into different emails that I've received or different conversations, that contact manager actually changes dynamically based on who I'm looking at. And if there is an associated account, I can click into, in this example, would be audit lawyer would be the company or account, and then Elias is my contact. Custom fields in front can be created at both the contact and the account level. And you can see in this example for my customer audit lawyer, I have a few different fields that I've populated in here, and I'm syncing from my CRM. So I'm populating this account manager field, audit lawyer's current ARR, as well as their client tier. And you'll see that as I change some of my, if I click into different emails that I've received, those fields are changing dynamically based on the fields that I'm syncing with my CRM. The other way that we can view the contacts and accounts is in the top left-hand corner. So if I click into my contacts up here in the very top left-hand corner, you'll see I have a list of my shared contacts as well as my accounts. Ignore my contacts, it's a little bit messy in there, but I've cleaned up the accounts. And you can see here that I'm able to sync and pull in those data points, again, from CRM into my account or contact manager. And a couple of flows that I just want to walk you guys through are some of the rules and automations that we can actually set up. So as you guys know with Front, one of the key drivers is being able to make clear assignments on these messages. And I'm going to show you guys how we can actually create auto assignments based on an accounts manager or an account manager fields that we're storing from CRM. So once we've gotten the CRM hooked up, I'll actually be able to take any message that I'm receiving from this final production customer and auto route it or auto assign it to Julia, who typically works that account in this scenario. For the other customer, for Elias, this would actually take any emails that we receive from Audit Lawyer and auto assign those over to my account manager, Danny, who typically works with them. As you guys may know, if we go over into the settings, sorry, I have to move some of my faces from Zoom. If I click into the settings in the top right-hand corner, the workflows in front are always going to be powered by our rules engine. So if I go to the rules engine, I'm going to go ahead and set up a custom rule right here. Although we do have templatized rules based on accounts stored down here in the rule library, I'm going to show you guys how to create this from scratch. So I'm going to go and click into this custom rule. I'll call this my account manager assign rule. In this scenario, I can say, anytime we get an inbound message, and I'm going to specify one of the inboxes that my team works out of. So anytime we get an inbound message into my onboarding inbox, I can actually create one unified rule that assigns either based on that contact or account field. So in this case, we created that account manager field. All I have to do is create this simple rule, 3 steps, and it will always assign to whoever is the designated account manager from my CRM, as long as I'm syncing those data points. This is truly one of the best ways that we can create these scalable rules based off of our CRM data. Now, one other quick example. We can see here that I'm storing things like client tier, or another example would be storing the geography of a specific customer. So one of the ways that we can categorize messages within front or create more specific analytics and metrics is by adding tags within the front platform. So those tags typically take the appearance of, I'm going to go and add an APAC tag here, and those tags display up here at the very top of the message. They can also show up in our message list. And ultimately, again, we can actually run our analytics based on those tags. So if you need to filter your customers or your analytics based on this APAC tag, by adding that categorization, we'll be able to filter down and drill down into those metrics. Now, another automation or workflow that I can create within front is automatically adding a specific tag based on the geo or the field that I'm pulling in from CRM. So the way that that can actually play out, again, I'm going to move back over into my rules engine. I'll create a quick rule. I'll call this add APAC tag. So my trigger here again is an inbound message. I'm going to look at my onboarding team inbox. And then in my and condition, I can actually look for specific fields. So if my custom account field geo equals APAC, then I can add a tag called APAC. So the way that this works in practice, if I get a message from one of my customers and they are designated as an APAC geo customer, I'm going to go ahead and automatically add that tag. Again, that can help my team prioritize what they're working on, or it'll help add to the analytics capabilities that I have. I'm going to move back over into the inbox. One of the other functionalities around creating accounts within front is that I can actually search for these. So if I'm looking in front and I'm searching, I can search by, I didn't mean to make it all caps, but I can search by a specific account by typing in that search qualifier, or I can also use some of my filters to drill down into specific conversations that I received based on my accounts. The last piece I'm going to cover is analytics. So once we're actually feeding in this data into the front platform, one of the key benefits of adding in your accounts from CRM is I can actually filter all of my reports based on specific accounts that I have created. So I can filter up here at the very top. There's also this customer satisfaction section. And here I can actually filter based on different contacts or accounts that I've created within my front instance. All right, those are some of the major topics that I wanted to cover. I'm going to pass it over to Yi Ting who's going to walk through the setup itself.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Justin. Hi, everyone. This is Yiting, product manager here at Front. So Justin just walked through kind of the power of having your CRM information inside Front. You're able to see those information readily in a fingertip. You're able to really power amazing rules to streamline and simplify your workflow, and you're able to do things like accounts, contact search, as well as analytics. So in the next 5 minutes, I will walk you through how, if you have a CRM today, how do you import your CRM data into Front? And I'll be sharing my screen as well. I see that there are some questions already coming in. Thank you for those who put in questions in the Q&A. We'll answer them at the end. And now let me share my screen. So this is a Front incident, a test incident. As Justin mentioned, I can go into the contact section. This has two parts. One is contacts, one is accounts. So accounts are the institutions and companies that you're working with. And then contacts are the individuals that you communicate with. Contacts and accounts are associated with each other. If you go into contacts, you can see that they have an account field related. So in the next step, I will walk you through how we can sync your CRM information into Front. There are a couple of ways we offer. You're able to do that through API. You're able to do that through CSV upload. We also offer integrations with HubSpot, Salesforce, as well as Microsoft Dynamics for a direct sync. And in the next 5 minutes, I'll walk you through how to quickly do that. It's actually pretty simple. You should be able to do it within a couple of minutes. And from the poll we just sent out, it seems like majority of the audience do use Salesforce, HubSpot, and Dynamics as your CRM. So I'm just going to walk through the Salesforce flow. And for HubSpot and Dynamics, it's actually very similar. So you can enter it, as I say, from Contact Manager. There is an import button on the top right. When you click into it, there is from Salesforce that you can click into. The first step is to log in and authenticate. So here I am clicking log into Salesforce, and I just authorized and put in my login information. And then you will see actually two toggles. One is sync accounts, one is sync contacts. You're able to do three things here. You can sync contacts only, you can sync accounts only, or you can sync both of them, depending on what your needs are. I'll give you an example by syncing accounts. Let's say if I click syncing accounts, there are two steps here that follows. The first step is to choose which accounts to sync. You're able to sync all of your accounts from your CRM, or you can pick from a Salesforce account list view, and we can do the same thing for HubSpot as well. So if you have a list that you want to sync versus bringing in all of your accounts, you're able to do that. And then the next step is to really map the fields. So as Justin just mentioned, if you add a field as account owner, you're really able to set up rules to route your messages to account owner, or you can actually set sync fields such as account type and map them to the account type custom field inside Front. And you can just click save changes to trigger the sync. And then there, for account sync specifically, there is a checkbox that says allow duplicate names for accounts. So basically, the CRM sync that Front offers is a one-way sync from your CRM to Front. So I know a lot of customers use their CRM as a source of truth, so you don't actually need to worry about Front overwriting your information inside CRM because it is a one-way sync. And when it's set up, you're able to trigger it every 24 hours, or you can always come in and do a manual sync whenever you want to. The way we keep your contact manager and accounts manager clean inside front is that we try to find existing contacts and accounts inside front and merge your contacts and accounts from CRM to that account. And we do that by searching for domain matching first. And then for accounts, we also search for a name matching. So if you don't want to create duplicates inside your front instance, when you're syncing accounts, you leave this box unchecked. However, some customers have actually multiple accounts that are different but share the same account name. In that case, you should check this box so that we will not merge your accounts based on name. And in that instance, if you have multiple accounts with the same name, we'll just create duplicates there. We'll just create multiple accounts inside front when we're doing the sync. And we also will not delete any information inside front during that sync. Let's say if you have a field that your team added to a new field that your teammates added to that account, when we're doing the sync, we'll only override the field that you choose here and will not override any additional fields and information. So that's account sync. You can also configure a contact sync here. It's very similar to the account sync, 2 steps only. The first step is to choose which contact to sync, and the second step is to choose which fields you'd like to bring into front. After doing that, you can click Save Changes, and the sync will be in progress. If you see an arrow, you can easily go to View Arrows to see what arrows there are. And then when you're back in your accounts manager, when you click into an account, you can see that it says last synced just now from Salesforce, indicating where this account is synced from and when you just synced it. So this is a quick overview of the overall sync process. Again, for HubSpot and Dynamics, the flow is very similar. The instructions should be pretty straightforward on the sync page. And we also have Help Center articles that can help you guide through each steps. Awesome. With that, I think we'll just open it up for Q&A. We saw that there are already many. And Justin and I, we can just go one by one. Okay, cool. Awesome. So there is a question asking if we're able to see opportunities inside Salesforce opportunities as opposed to accounts. So yes, we are. So the CRM sync that we're focusing on for this webinar are only syncing accounts and contacts. However, we do have a Salesforce plugin that you're able to access, moving a lot of windows around here in your side pane. So this actually allows you to edit and retrieve information from your CRM. However, information here will not be able to power analytics or rules or enable accounts contact-based search inside front. So to able to do that, you will need to do a CRM sync. But here you can see you're actually able to see when you open a conversation, the contact information, accounts information, you're able to see opportunities associated as well as tasks, activities, cases, and notes. You're able to log an email here directly or go edit the information. You can actually configure which fields you like to see by clicking into this gear button to add and choose an add field. So hopefully that answers.
And the one thing I'll add there is that in Salesforce, you can actually configure like lookup fields. So if you needed to run some of the front automations based off of opportunity information in your CRM, you can push that opportunity info over to the contact or the account and then be able to sync that into front and run some of your front rules off of that level.
Great. Cool. There is A question asking if we can show the setup in HubSpot. So that will be I can very quickly show that. 1 second. So if you see my front incidents, again, go into Contact Manager, import from HubSpot. So let me just toggle everything off. So this should be the one you see. And then once you can log into HubSpot, this actually allow you to choose if you have multiple HubSpot account, you can actually choose which account you're logging into. And once you're able to do that, again, this is the same toggle. You can do sync accounts, sync contacts, choose which fields you like to sync, choose which contacts you want to sync. So yeah, the very, very similar process as Salesforce. Any
the next view.
Yeah, sure. Start reading through questions. AI features planned for assisting with the sync? Not yet, but we're actually exploring some options. So more to come there. Nothing to share yet. But if you have great ideas, feel free to give us feedback, and we'll actually really look into some of great ideas are coming from our customers. So. Justine, want to take the next one, routing from. Oh yeah, so the routing, so it's being able to route conversation based on account field, account owner available for all tiers of front subscriptions. So I believe it's not available for starter. Yeah, and available for scale. For growth, I think it depends on which growth tier you're on. So because we did revamp the pricing tier at some point in time, so I believe if you join growth before or after, there is a difference. So I would check with my account manager for this. And if you share your account information more, we're also happy to check for you. Oh, this is a great question. So how do you see contact information for more than just who the email was received from? So actually, we're able to do that pretty easily. Let me share my screen again. Maybe I'll just keep it shared. So 1 second. Yeah, so if you have, so both, so let's see, if you go back to Contact Manager, I received an email from someone. I can see their contact information as well as their accounts information here. If there are multiple threads in that conversation, there is this toggle at the top right that's like a people image. When you go there, you can actually select all the possible participants that's in that conversation, so recipients or a sender, and toggle to see their information. So this same toggle, remember the Salesforce plugin that I just showed you? Same toggle looks the same. You can toggle actually between people you want to see. So it's a pretty easy thing to do. Actually, I'm going to stop sharing so I can actually read the Q&A. So next question, is there an easy way to view all contacts associated with a specific account? Yes. So if you go to accounts, you should be able to see, I think in this demo instance, I don't, if you have a good one, my demo instance actually doesn't have, because I'm using a new one, but if you go to, click into accounts, you're actually able to see all the contacts. If you just scroll in your contact manager, like Justin may be able to show you how that.
Yeah, I can show that.
In the demo. Okay.
I think it's this one. So if you're in the contact manager up here in the top left-hand corner, I'll click into contacts. If I click into accounts, if I click into one of my accounts, if I scroll down here, I can see if I had multiple contacts associated with that account, I'd be able to view all those contacts right here or choose that view all option.
Will we send a recording to our email after the call? Yeah, the answer is yes. We will be sending a recording after the call. Thanks everyone for attending and for putting in all the questions.
I don't know that one right above it.
Salesforce Sync, is that on an individual basis or platform to platform via admin authorization? Not 100% sure what exactly this question is asking. I think what you're asking is, so each individual, so if you're the CRM syncs are only available to front admins. So only front admins are able to set it up. And when you set it up, these information are set up for your company. So basically, if I'm syncing like 10 accounts through the CRM sync, everyone in my company will be able to see the 10 accounts or contacts, if that's the question. And that if you're a front admin, you want to do the sync, you do not need to be a Salesforce admin. I'm just trying to interpret the question as I understand it, but feel free to submit a different one if that's not what you're asking. So you don't need to be a Salesforce admin if you are a front admin to do this sync. However, I do believe we need a Salesforce admin to enable a API. So, but I assume, so most of our customers, the API is already enabled. So you actually don't need to be a Salesforce admin. But in case you run into any blockers, do know that it could be because your API, Lawrence, is not enabled. And in that case, you need to find your admin to do that. Again, in our Help Center article, there are pretty detailed instructions on all of the potential errors you might encounter. What are the solutions to them? So there's some questions we'll follow up that's not directly relevant to the CRM sync. We'll follow up offline. Oh, okay. So there's a question on the sync is one time only, or can we schedule? So yeah, so all the CRM sync from Salesforce, HubSpot, Microsoft Dynamics, once you set it up, it's every 24 hours. So it will trigger a automatic sync every 24 hours. You do not need to schedule. However, if you want the frequency to be more than 24 hours, then maybe you want to go in every 5 hours to trigger a manual sync. We currently do not support like choosing the frequency of the sync.
Mute real quick. So I saw a couple questions on that are sort of related, but just to be clear, when you're syncing your CRM data into Front, we are not editing that information. We're just taking that information that you've already created in your CRM itself. Now, if you were leveraging the Salesforce plugin, I don't actually have it hooked up here, but that's the distinct Salesforce or CRM that lives over here on the right-hand side, that is able to two-way write into CRM.
There is a great question here. In order for accounts to work, does Front need to save all the incoming contacts associated? Thank you. This is a great question. As the context, Justin just showed that if you receive an email from an individual, we you're actually able to click into contact details and see not only information about the individual, but also the accounts associated with him and the accounts information as well. So actually, if you just do an account sync from, we'll be able to automatically associate contacts to your accounts. We do that by domain. So if you don't do any contact sync, you just bring your accounts information, and as long as you input the domain information for your accounts, we're able to just match contacts who share the same domain to that account. So you will be able to see these contact detail informations, even though you do not bring in, like, do a contact sync. The reason we do offer a contact sync is sometimes people use generic domains, and some of our customers, they do not have their contacts and accounts don't share the same domain. So in that case, you can actually do the contact sync, and through the contact sync, associate your accounts with your contacts. So short answer is, like, if your contacts and accounts share the same domain, we'll automatically associate them. You can choose to sync contacts if you want to bring in extra fields, or you don't have to sync contacts. They will be automatically associated with accounts. However, if your contacts and accounts association are not by domain, either it's for example, gmail.com, or if certain contacts are having different domains as their accounts, then you will need to do a contact sync to be able, for front to be able to associate them correctly. I'm just reading questions. You mentioned it was one-way sync. Is there a way to sync the emails from front to Salesforce, or should we do that using? Okay, cool. Yes, so the sync specifically that we're talking about is a one-way sync. However, the plugin that we just mentioned allow you to log emails from front to Salesforce. Just if I can share my screen again. Yeah, like here, you can see this login button. We're actually, there is a login for opportunities as well. Yeah, so you were able to, if you receive an email, you're actually able to just log the email, and it will send to Salesforce as a task. Unfortunately, this only is available for Salesforce today. You can also do a rule by like sending email to Salesforce through a rule as well. So there are a couple of ways to do that. Again, our Help Center article should provide a lot more details there. I think we'll take 3 more questions. Thanks, there are actually a lot more questions than we can answer. We'll try to pick the ones that we think are more applicable to everyone else in the call. Cool. Can you have a HubSpot and Salesforce sync at the same time? Yes, you are able to have them at the same time. The only issue you might run into is if you have the same information inside Salesforce and HubSpot, then the one that's synced first will be synced inside front. And let's say you have a account with the same domain, same name from HubSpot and Salesforce, and you sync the HubSpot one first, and you're trying to sync the Salesforce one. And because we'll find that contacts, we'll find that account like exactly the same, but already linked to your HubSpot, then we'll throw an error versus creating a duplicate there. So maybe that's also what you are looking for, but just you're able to do both sync at the same time. You can also do a CSV sync at the same time, but when there are duplicates, there is a merging logic that we have.
And then I think this will cover a couple of questions, but if you guys have like a homegrown CRM or you're using more of like a custom database, you can either import your contacts and accounts via a CSV file into the front contact manager, or there's also the possibility of using Front's open API to connect your databases into Front directly. So there are both options for that.
Great. Yeah, I think that there are some questions we're not able to answer. But thank you for putting them in. Yeah, that's thank you everyone for attending, and hopefully you find this helpful and want to try it for your company. You can always, if you want to set it up, you can always do like a quick short list and test it out versus syncing everything. That's some like a good way to see if this will be helpful. And great. Sarah, do you want to share? So actually, there is another webinar that we will be hosting around, it's a webinar around customer panel, where leaders across industries will be discussing customer retention and operational efficiency in the face of a recession. We'll share the link in the chat if you like to sign up. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Thanks for using Front, and we'll see you another time.